Yo, what is up, y'all? It's your boy Manny. I'm back with another video. Actually, I got another story time for you guys, and I didn't think I was gonna do another story time until like Halloween night, but I had no video planned for today. And I still got a couple more stories to tell, and so I was like, you know what? Why not? I recorded some gameplay for this already. I was like, might as well use it. But yeah, let's get into it. So this story time, it's I don't want to say like it's like a part two for my last one. If you watch my last one, I highly recommend it. It was like about just a shitty pretty much day that I had. And in that story, I mentioned an assistant manager that I once had that made my life just hell while working at that last job. And so this video is pretty much just about her because she put me through so much bullshit at that job. And you know, I just want to talk about all the things that happened. But there is like, I guess, a linear story to all of this, okay? So this starts back in 2019. And in 2019 is when I first started working at that job. And it was basically like a retail store. And it wasn't technically my first job, but the first job I had, it lasted there for like a week and I ended up quitting for reasons. And so I guess in a way I do kind of consider this my first job because it technically was my first job, the one that I actually stayed at. And two of my friends that worked at that job, they actually got me into it. They recommended me to their manager, and that's how I actually got into the job. But this whole story starts before I even got the job. So one day I had to go in, and I'm not gonna lie, both the assistant manager and the actual manager of the store fucking sucked. Like, they were both horrible, bro. And at first, when I first met the manager, I thought he was actually like a cool dude. But little did I know, later on, he was just a fucking asshole. So, I'm gonna just get into it, okay? So, first of all, I guess you could say this video's about both of them. But first of all, so I ended up getting an interview at the job. My friends recommended me. My two friends that worked there, they ended up getting me an interview there. And eventually one day, I went in for the interview. And the day that I went in, I was told to come in at like, I think it was like 7 or 8 in the morning for the interview. So I got up super early, and I have a horrible sleep schedule. Like, even until this day, even like now, like I work, but I have such a bad sleep schedule. Like, I barely get any sleep for work. It's just how I am, bro. I'm a night owl by heart, bro, and that's just never gonna change. But I went in for my interview, and it's super early, like I said. And so I go in, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna call this guy David, who's the manager of the store. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for David. And this guy came up to me, and he's like, he's not here right now. I was like, he's not? I was like, he asked me to come in for an interview, like, right now. Like, I'm here on time. And he's like, yeah, he's not here. Like, let me give him a call. So he calls David up, and then the dude comes back out, and he tells me, like, hey, so David's actually not gonna be here until later today. He told me to tell you to come in at like 6 p.m. So I woke up that early for like legit no reason, right? So I was kind of bummed out, but I was like, okay, I guess, because now I had to take a Lyft home, and I at the time I wasn't driving, so I was like, okay, now I just gotta call Lyft. I called my Lyft. I went home. I was bummed out, but I went and I went back to sleep basically, and I woke up later. Woke up on time. Took another Lyft to the job. Came in and I did the same thing. Found another manager, and I was like, hey, is David here? I'm here for a job interview. And they proceed to tell me that David left already like 2 hours ago. I was like, what? He told me to come in for a job interview, and they're like, yeah, he already left. And so they're like, okay, let me call him. So they call the guy again, and he's like, tell him to come in on this other day. There's 2 times that I've come in already, and like nothing happened because the guy just either wasn't showing up or wasn't leaving. And then eventually another day came where I got the job interview. I came in. One of my friends was working there, so I went to go say what's up to. Or actually, no, one of my friends was with me, and one of my other friends was working with there. But my other friend that worked at the job, he was with me, and because he already worked there, he knew the people, and he introduced me to the assistant manager. And I said hi to her. I was like, oh, he was talking to her. He introduced me. He's like, oh, this is Manny. He's trying to get a job here. And I was like, oh, hey, like, nice to meet you. I was really nice. I was like trying to be really nice to her. and I didn't see like anything wrong going on here. Eventually, I had my job interview, like later on after that. My job interview actually took place another day after this interaction happened with the assistant manager. And I went in for my job interview. It's all going like pretty well, right? And eventually the dude tells me, I'm going to be honest with you. Somebody here told me that you're unreliable. Dude, this came as like a massive shocker to me, because I'm like, nobody knows me here except for like my two friends. Who the hell who are trying to get me in the job? Why would they tell him that, right? So I was like, what the fuck? And my friend, while I was doing the job interview, was like at the door, and I looked at him and he just like nodded his head like no. And I was like, okay, I don't know who would have told you that, but I think I'm a pretty reliable person. Like, you know, I don't do stupid shit. And he gave me the job anyways. Like, I got the job, but he also did like some other things that were like, I feel like a manager shouldn't be doing to like somebody that, you know, is about to get a job there. Like, the dude was showing me how much I was going to get paid, and then was going on the page and being like, this is how much a manager makes. You're not going to be making that. And then he's like, this is how much I make. You're definitely not making that. And I was like, okay, that's one hell of a way to put it, but you know, thanks, bro. Like, it's, you know, whatever. So then eventually, like, the job interview ended. He told me I got the job. He told me when I was starting, and I was like, okay. So I left, and me and my friend ended up leaving the store. And when we walked out, I was like, bro, did you tell them I was unreliable, or was it our other friend? He's like, no, dude, it was actually the assistant manager. I was like, why the fuck would she tell them I'm unreliable? I met her for like a minute. She doesn't even know who I am. And he told me that the reason she said that was because she doesn't like young people working there, which, mind you, all the people that literally applied to that store were mostly like people that were getting out of high school. Like, it was people, like, it was just freshly like 18-year-olds, you know? So she didn't like young people. And she thought that because I already had two friends working at the job, that I just viewed it as an opportunity to just mess around and make a little bit of money, I guess. Because I was just going to be messing around with my friends, which wasn't the case at all. I was actually just looking for a job. And, you know, it was easy because my friends got me in. But like I said, I got the job anyways. And that already, like, started me off on the wrong foot with this girl. Because I was like, what does she have against me, bro? Little did I know, this wasn't gonna be the end of it. There was still so much more shit that she put me through, like, to come, bro. Like, it sucked. Anyways, so eventually, like, I did low-key, like, I guess fuck up a month into the job. Because, like, a month in, there was one day where I kind of slept through my alarm, and I showed up like 20 minutes late. Well, thankfully, there was another manager who I really like, and I think is really cool there. And he told me he wasn't going to tell her. But, I mean, obviously, she was going to find out either way. But he didn't, like, bring it up to her. He's like, I'm going to give you a warning, bro. Like, don't worry about it. I was like, okay, for sure. And shit, right? But later on, I started to realize that, obviously, I didn't like the assistant manager. That was, like, obvious from the very beginning. Because she tried to take that job away from me, basically, before I even got it. And the actual manager was just a dick, bro. Like, he just sucked. Like, the dude never came into work, and then when he did come into work, he was there for like 2 hours, and bro just like never wanted to do anything. There were so many times where I would walk in to like the office to ask for like help about something, and bro would be sitting there on his phone playing like Warzone. Like, you know, I don't know if COD is still on mobile, on iOS and shit like that, but that's literally what he would be doing. I remember one time I walked into the office because a customer needed help, and I didn't have the knowledge to help them with what it was that they needed help with. And I went in, told him like, hey David, this customer needs some help about this, blah, blah, blah. And he told me, but I still didn't really understand, and I left. And then I came back in, and then bro put his phone down like in a fit of like annoyance and was like, oh my God. And he put it like, bro wasn't doing anything important. He was playing Warzone in the office, bro. Like, you know, so I'm like, oh, okay, my fault. I didn't mean to bother you for, you know, I'm sorry I'm asking you to do your fucking job, homie. So it was like things like that that really like annoyed the hell out of me with that manager, you know. And eventually that guy, we'll get into that later, but basically one of the first run-ins that I had with the assistant manager, which even after all the things that she did, I always still try to be nice to her, but she always just looks so damn annoyed, bro. Like I could never like get through to her. Like I could never get to a point where I was like, maybe she'll fuck with me. She never did, and I never understood why. But obviously, like in most jobs, eventually when you do something wrong, you get like a write-up. And when you get 3, that's pretty much, I can't remember if that's like your last warning or if that's like, that's it, you're fired. But while I was at this job, I ended up getting 2 write-ups. And I was obviously like always on the verge of my 3rd one. But I always thought that the write-ups that I got were just plain stupid. Because the first write-up that I got was, we had these like papers that all the employees had to sign every week. And it was like for your check, pretty much. Like, we weren't signing the check, or we weren't signing to get the check. It was just something that we had to like just sign to say like, yeah, these are the hours that I worked. And a lot of people that worked there just kind of forgot about them. Like I forgot about them like all the time, because like, bro, unless there's someone's telling me to sign this all the time, like I'm not gonna remember, you know. So I completely forgot about them. And I guess at one point there was a couple of us that weren't signing them for like weeks, and so she wrote me up for that. And I was like, what? I was like, bro, that's so stupid. Like, and then later on, they just stopped enforcing it. But I got a write-up for it just regardless. There were so many people that I knew that never, like, wrote them down or whatever. And it was so obvious she had favorites, because there were so many people that never got write-ups. So that one, it's like a really dumb one. But still, it was like, you know, whatever. So the next one, I remember one time, I came into work like 3 to 5 minutes late. Like my shift had just started and I came in a little late because I think my lift was taking a little too long. And I pulled up to work and I go like on the register to go like, you know, to start my shift basically. And she's like, hey, I'm gonna need to see you in the office. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm like, what is this about? So I walk in there and she's like, you were late today. Bro, it's 5 minutes late. Like, I was like, yeah, I was like 5 minutes late. My lift took a little while. She's like, you can't be showing up late like that ever again. I was like, it was 5 minutes. Like, I wasn't like late for like half an hour. She's like, you have to tell me that you're not gonna be showing up late. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not gonna show up late. I worked at this job for like a while. Later on, I moved to like a different department. I was showing up late all the fucking time. Like, and nobody said shit. Like, literally nobody gave a fuck. So, I was like, alright, whatever. And then, there was another day that I took a lunch. And I showed up, I swear, like a minute late. Like, I was rushing back to the job to clock back in, and she got mad at me, bro, because I clocked in 1 minute late. I was like, this girl just hates me, bro, like, for real, just to fucking hate on me for no reason. Okay? But this is the best one. This is where my second write-up came in, and I till this day, I cannot believe this actually happened. She calls me into the office to talk to me, and she's like, I heard the other day you sold a prescription item. Oh no, you accepted a return for a prescription item that had no receipt. And at the store, we sold prescription items that were for dogs. And if someone, you know, like, I mean, in most cases, if someone's returning something and they don't have a receipt, you can't really accept it unless you talk to a manager and the manager says it's okay, then sure. But if they don't have a receipt, especially for prescription items, we usually can't do the return. And so, you know, apparently she said that I had accepted a return for a prescription item that didn't have a receipt. And I have like really good memory. So I genuinely did not remember this like at all ever happening. So I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you know, this transaction that happened yesterday. I was like, I do not remember accepting a transaction or accepting a return that had no receipt. I don't remember this at all. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I thought about it and I was like, also, if it's a return if it's a return with no receipt, I would have to get the permission of a manager to like approve it. So if I did do it, I definitely would have asked the manager, because I never do that without asking managers. And she's like, okay, who was the manager? And I was like, I don't know. I have no, like, if I don't even remember this transaction taking place, how the hell am I gonna remember who the manager was? She's like, okay, well, you know, you lost us this much money, so I'm gonna have to, or you're gonna have to sign this. I was like, am I really getting a write-up for that? For something that I didn't even, that first of all, that I don't even think happened, and that I don't even have the authority to approve. And she was like, pretty much she just told me to sign it. And I was like, wow, dude, that's so dumb. So I signed it, you know, like low-key I didn't have to, but I did end up signing it. So I got my second write-up right there. After that, I never got any more write-ups, because honestly, it, you know, I guess I didn't do any more quote-unquote dumb shit, and like anything that was dumb enough to make her give me a write-up, or maybe she just stopped giving a fuck. But after I got the second write-up, I remember I walked out of the office and I saw one of my friends, and she was like, what happened? And I was like, I just got a write-up. And I explained to her the whole thing. My friend tells me, oh my god, I think I'm next. I was like, why? It's like, because the other day I accepted like fake bills on accident, and I think she like lost them like $300 or something like that. And my friend goes, do you think she knows? And we had another manager there with us, and the manager goes, oh yeah, she definitely knows. I have to tell her these things. My friend never got a damn write-up, bro. Never got called into the office, like nothing. And my friend always told me, I feel like she likes me a lot. So I was like, damn, I got a write-up for something I was pretty damn sure didn't happen, and something I couldn't even approve to begin with, but I still got in trouble for it. And my friend like did this and didn't get not a single like warning, not a talking, nothing. So then that's when I really realized this girl fucking hates me. She's trying to for sure get me out of this job. Like, she wants to fire me. And mind you, like, at this point I was working there for a while, bro, and I wasn't doing any dumb shit. Like, I was just working. So I was like, all right, whatever. You know, I just moved on from that. Eventually, I don't know, I think she did too, but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, there was something that was going on with her that was 100% against company policy that I knew about, and I could leak that shit, but the only reason I didn't do it was because it involved another person that I knew, and it wasn't either of my two friends. But I'm not even gonna get into that. It's a little too fresh to get into it, so, you know, not like super fresh, but you know, I just don't want to get anybody in trouble if that's the case. You never know. But yeah, as for the main manager, you know, the one that I was talking about that I think is a horrible person that I hated, the guy that I thought, you know, the guy David, the guy that I thought was really cool when I first started working there, and I realized he was a dickhead. I had a lot of more run-ins with him where it was just like really dumb things, but it was very like close to everything that I had already talked about. And there was actually not a run-in, but he eventually left the job. And not left, but they said he was like getting moved to another store. And I hadn't seen him for like months, right? Like I just knew that he worked at another store. And I talked to this manager who was always really cool with everybody. The dude just didn't care. He said whatever he wanted. And I was like, oh yeah, man, like we're talking about like older managers, and I was like, yo, what, you know, like I know David like runs this store, right? And he's like, David, he just like laughs, and he's like, that guy got fired a long time ago. I was like, he got fired? They were like, yeah, bro, he got terminated. I was like, for what? Like, what the hell? Like, was it at this store or what? He's like, yeah, he never got moved to another store. He got terminated. I was like, like, what was the reason? Like, could you tell me? And he's like, I shouldn't be telling you, but fuck it, I'll tell you. So what happened was, there was a girl who worked at that job, and I guess they were messing around. The girl that worked at that job was not a manager. She was like just a regular employee, but I guess the dude was messing around with her. The worst part about this is the dude, like when this all happened, when he got terminated for all that stuff, he just had a kid, bro. He like dead ass, like he had kids already, and his wife went into like labor. She was pregnant and she just had another kid, and the dude had to like take time off because, you know, his wife was, because of the kid. The dude had just had a kid and cheated on his wife with like a younger girl in the store. And you know, like, I didn't know the girl all that well. Like, it was towards the end of her working there, I became a little cooler with her and I talked to her a little bit more. But I never, like, when I found out about the story, I was like, what the hell did she see in him? Dude, the guy, and no offense to anybody that's short, was so fucking short, bro. Bro was like 5'3". He was like in his 30s. He wasn't that good looking. Like, he was, you know, I don't know what she saw in him. Like, but that shit was so wild, man. But yeah, that dude just ended up getting fucking fired, and I didn't even know about it until like way later on. Like I said, after this, we ended up getting another manager who was so fucking cool, man. Like, he was actually the coolest dude out there. That guy was the first guy at like that job that really like just showed his appreciation towards me. Like, the dude was always so cool with me, so nice to me. The dude would give me raises, and then eventually I thought about leaving the store, but he switched me to another department and was like, we'll match whatever they're paying over there, so you stay here. And I was like, all right, fuck it, you know. And so I ended up moving to another department and worked with completely new people. And all the people that I met, like, not all the people, but I met some people at that other department that I'm like really good friends with till this day. Like, I don't work at that store and I haven't worked there for a while now, but we became really cool friends, you know, and I'm still really good friends with them. I actually just went on a trip with one of them. It was fucking sick, dude. But yeah, things were so much different in the other department that I was working in. Like I said, there were so many cool people there, but just like this other department, like the first one that I was at, this other one just came with its own set of like bullshit as well. But still, I met some really cool people out of it. You know, I got some cool ass friendships, and I don't work at that job anymore, you know, but you know, towards the end of it, I would see that assistant manager every now and then, and I'd say hi to her, and she would say hi to me. And she seemed like she chilled out a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, bro, at the beginning, she fucking sucked, bro. Like, she, for real, just hated on me for no fucking reason. This ain't like a crazy-ass story time, but this is just one of the worst experiences that I had at a job. So, I have low-key more stories that I have, like, from jobs and shit, that I wouldn't mind telling on this channel, but yeah, this is definitely one of the worst ones, bro. I just got put through so much dumbass shit, and you know, at that job, because of that assistant manager and that first manager I had fucking sucked. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. For sure, this might be my last story time until Halloween, until I get that one out, and I'll probably just be posting more like gaming videos and whatnot, like funny, stupid, like horror game stuff with my friends. But yeah, you know, I hope y'all enjoy this one. I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Later.